This is the one and only group assignment that you have for this course, so you haven't been assigned a group just yet. Now that this Unit 4 is open and you are able to start working in your group, you now will have a tab right over here on the left-hand side that says My Groups, and it will list the name of the group that you're in. For right now, for this demonstration, I've only created one test group, but yours will say Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, etc. And you have been randomly assigned to a group with some of your classmates that are still participating in the class. If you click on the group name, it gives you a few options of things that you can do. I definitely encourage you to go through and explore each one of these. There's a quick link to be able to send emails back and forth to just the people in your group. There's also a group discussion board that has been created specifically for your group, and only you and your group members can access it. This is where you have hopefully already begun to talk to each other about the categories and definitions, and are now using that to also decide who's going to take on what task in the group. There's also, you can create a group homepage. You can customize the banner on that homepage and the color. If you wanted to do that and get creative, you certainly can, but that's really more used by instructors that have groups set up from the beginning of the course, and you and your group do various assignments throughout the course, which is not necessarily the case with us. But you will definitely be using this link, the group wiki. So let's go ahead and click on that so that you guys can see what a wiki is and what it looks like in Blackboard. Alright, so you can see that I've already kind of started contributing to this page, and every time you contribute to the page, make modifications, make comments, build a new page for your wiki, your group's wiki, it shoots it to me as the instructor and says, hey, so-and-so has already created a new page, it's ready for grading, or so-and-so made a comment or has made some modifications, and that is an indicator to me that you are contributing, that you are collaborating with your group, and when it's time for the group to turn in their assignment, that will also be my indication that it's time for me to grade you and your contribution to the wiki. It's pretty easy to use the wiki. When you get to this page, there's not going to be anything down here. It's going to be blank. And so you're going to have to actually start the wiki and create a new page for it. Each one of your 5 categories that you and your group decide on should have its own page on this wiki. Each one of you might take on a page by yourself. 2 of you might collaborate together and do 2 pages together. It's totally up to you and your group how you're going to split up the work. But each one of the 5 categories should have a page by itself, which means you should have at least 5 pages here in your wiki. So I've already started one. This was one of the examples that I had given you guys of using colors, red, blue, purple, green, orange, as the categories for the artworks that you are classifying. Obviously you can't use that one for your own because it wouldn't always be useful for every artwork, and also because it's kind of simple. It's been done before. I've always had several groups and several students use colors as their categories before, and I want you guys to really stretch yourself creatively and come up with something new. So I've already created a page here for the red artworks and created a title so that I know as the instructor when I look at your group's wiki that these are all of the red artworks. Where it says this is red, this is where you would actually put your definition that your group wrote. Think about this as a website that other people could visit, other people outside of the class, and if they were to look at this website, look at the artwork examples that you put into each category, and if they also were reading the definition that you gave for red artworks, they would be able to clearly understand how to classify artworks based on your categories on their own. So that's what you're aiming for. So I gave a little bit of justification. I said that this particular pattern that you see here would fall under the category of being a red artwork because you have to have red to make pink. Now you're going to be putting a lot of artworks on each one of these pages because there are almost 200 artworks that you have to classify all together. I don't expect you to write an explanation like this for every single artwork on each page, but I do expect you to do it for at least a few of them, just to show me that you can justify which artworks go on which page, and especially for some that are a little bit harder to understand, that you really had to push yourself to figure out which category it would fall into. I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit Wiki Content. This is how you can change the pages even after you've created it. Within your group, if there are two of you that are both building the red artworks page, one of you could add 5 artworks with explanations, save it, and then the other person could come and edit that same page, that same red artworks page, add to what you've already created. They could clean up some of the writing that you did if maybe you're not using proper grammar or had a few misspellings. So you guys can really work with each other here within your group. So in order to edit any one of the pages, you would just click on Edit Wiki Content. And what's going to come up is very similar to what you use for submitting other assignments as well as when you create a Word document. So you can type information, you can also attach files, you can insert images, you can even insert QuickTime movies and HTML code and audio if you really wanted to. I doubt that you'll need to. You can also change the text color, you can change the font itself if you wanted to get creative and make a little bit more interesting presentation. And then once you have a file, because there are so many that you're going to be putting in, you can also size these files down, or these images down, so that you can actually get them all onto one page, because they're going to be pretty big. Okay, so I've got my first file on here, my first artwork. Let's go ahead and put another one in here. Just for the sake of layout, I'm going to do a whole bunch of hyphens to kind of create a line and a rule between my first artwork and my second artwork. And then I can type, this artwork is also red because ... And then let's go ahead and insert an image, attach an image. Browse my computer. Let's look at my USB. Let's insert the picture of this lady. And this is one of those particular artworks that may be a little bit harder than others. Isn't she cute? Maybe a little bit harder than others to justify, because when you look at this particular photograph, which was taken by one of my students in a photography class that I taught at AC, it was through community services, so it was just kind of a workshop. It was 8 weeks long, I believe, more so than a credit class like you guys are taking. But they had to do a photo story, and she did hers on life and death. That was what her topic was for her photo story. And so this is one of the photographs that she took of an old woman in her neighborhood. And when you look at this photograph, it's not all tints and shades of red, which is what you would normally think of in a red artwork, but I would still classify this as a red artwork because her red sweater is the first color that grabs your attention. And because the color red can be seen as a symbol of a strong woman, and this woman was obviously had a long, full life, thus the color of her red sweater tells a story about her. So you may have artworks that not every aspect of it fulfills the criteria for your definition that you guys as a group came up with, but as long as you can justify it just as I've done here, that's what I'm really looking for. So like I said, that's how you would insert an image. If you wanted to change the font to a different color, if you haven't done this yet, let's change it to red. Why not? It's called This Is Red, right? I can make it larger so it's more like a title. I could change the font. Let's try something different. Verdana. I could make it bold, I could make it italic. So really have fun with it and be creative. If you look at the grading rubric for these wikis, and for this rewriting the text part 2 in general, you'll see that part of what I'm looking for is that you got a little creative, that you put a little bit more into these final wikis than just the bare minimum requirements. So format it, have fun with it, think about how you can really make it look good and make it stand out from the other groups in the class. Once you have made any changes to that particular page, you'll want to click on the submit page or the submit button, just as you would with any other assignment. And now that page has been added, has been altered, has been saved. If you are in the group and you see that there's a misspelling or you have suggestions for another artwork that could go on that page, you could either make the changes yourself or you can write a comment and let your classmate that's in charge of that page know, hey, maybe you should also look at the third artwork on the flash files folder because I think it would fit on this page really well. So once again, you can kind of communicate with each other, talk to each other. When you get ready to actually start building each page, once again, it's really easy. You just click on Create Wiki Page. And you'll have to create one of these for each of the 5 categories that you came up with. Alright, you'll have to give it a name. Red Artworks is what I had named the other one. And then down here is where you start adding the content, just like I did before. And then once again, you hit submit, and it'll create the second page. So we'll try Blue Artworks. I'm not going to put anything down here. Well, why not? This is blue. Let's give it that same heading that we had before. Verdana, bold italic. But this time we'll make it blue, because this is the Blue Artworks page. Apply. Submit. And once Blackboard registers our changes, now we can see that we've kind of got navigation started over here. Rewriting the test, or rewriting the text test group now has 2 pages. Red Artworks and Blue Artworks. Right now I'm on the Blue Artwork page, but if I click on Red Artworks, it'll take me back to the Red Artworks page. Still has all the changes that I made. And then you just keep going until you have all 5 of your pages built. And then you guys as a group can continue to alter, fix, change, refine, format each one of the pages just to make it look the best that it can be and make sure that the content is strong. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you guys are able to utilize this technology well. I think it's going to be easier for everyone having everything built into Blackboard than trying to use email or some sort of external website to do this same type of assignment. So don't be afraid of the technology. Blackboard has tried to make it easy for you to use and make it user-friendly. So utilize it to the best of your ability and make sure you split up the responsibilities, delegate the tasks so that everybody has a part in making this wiki a success.